Good morning, everyone. My name is Katrina Ruiz-Cordova, and I am the president of the Association of Hispanic Alumni. And I want to thank you all for joining us this morning. I know it is a bit early for those of you who joined us yesterday for our events, but we are getting ready for our game time. And as such, we wanted to make sure that we brought in our program ahead of that. So just a couple of things that we are going to be reviewing with you before we go ahead and get started. These are just some of our guidelines for our event. Our participants are all muted upon entry. Please remain that way. I believe that this function is actually disabled for those of you who are participating. To ask a question, please click on the Q&A icon on the bottom of your screen and enter your question in the chat window. We do have 2 board members who will be monitoring those questions, and we will do the best that we can to either answer them now or provide you with a response later on. And use the thumbs up option to upvote a question in the Q&A. And also, I just want to remind everyone that this event is being recorded to share with our participants who unfortunately are unable to make it at this time, but really value the information and the accolades of those who are participating in our presentation. So just a little bit about the UFAHA. I know that during these COVID times, like everyone says, we tend to think that maybe things have taken a pause, but on the contrary, they haven't. We've actually been extremely fortunate to have dedicated donors that really believe in our mission to advance the student community and the alumni participation with the Hispanic-Latinx population. So with that being said, we managed to still have and conduct different activities and events at this time virtual that support those initiatives. And we have been fortunate enough to expand nationwide, since we are a national organization, to accumulate funds that ultimately support the university and our students. So this is my 2nd year as president of the UFAHA, and I have been involved since 2005 as a student when I served as the Hispanic Student Association president, and I've been fortunate enough to remain engaged with this community. And ultimately, for the last, I want to say 8 years, I've had different leadership roles within the UFAHA, and it's been amazing to see our growth and to ultimately be able to quantify our dollars for support with the university and our students. So the AHA was founded officially, I would say, in 1994, and its mission is to support current UF students in their development as future Gator alumni. And what does that support mean? That's not just financial support. We do a range of things. We support them in their current experience at the university. We help transition them into successful roles as they graduate from college. And ultimately, we try to remain to, I guess, facilitate their involvement with us in giving back, because that's ultimately what I believe is the true essence of a Gator, that spirit to give back and see those who come after you succeed, because together we are stronger that way. So where are we currently with our board members? We've established a presence in Seattle, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., Austin, Texas, Tampa, Central Florida, Broward, Miami-Dade, Gainesville. We do have a heavy presence in Florida because the majority of the Hispanic community, when we're referencing our demographic, is in Florida, heavily concentrated in South Florida, which I would say is pretty much our base, but our directors serve all across the country. And actually the beauty of these virtual events is that we are able to reach larger audiences and really participate with individuals who possibly could not make it to events like these. This creates accessibility for all, which is basically the goal of our organization and education in general. So we're really appreciative of that. Unfortunately, this year we were unable to host our Gator Guayabera Guateque, and typically this event serves as our Gator Encore event. So with that being said, I think it's extremely important for us to recognize the hard work and dedication of our students. And luckily, we were able to have a lot of applicants this year, and it was such a difficult decision to really narrow in on them, but they did participate in a rigorous application process, and we did screen them, and ultimately the students that we would like to recognize are those who follow up next. Valentina Nunez, she is the proud recipient of our Colonel Glenn A. Ferris Scholarship, which is a specific UFAHA scholarship. I just want to specify, and we'll get into this a little bit further as we present Dr. Machen, in speaking about where our dollars go. We do have an AHA endowment that specifically supports Hispanic Latinx students. And then we also support the MFOS Scholars Program, which typically focuses on first-generation students. So Valentina is a recipient of our Colonel Glenn A. Ferris Scholarship. Valentina, we'd love to hear from you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Valentina Nunez. I am one of the scholarship recipients this year. I wanted to just first thank you all for being here with us today. I'm a first-generation, third-year nursing student here at the University of Florida, and I am also a sister of Gamma Eta Sorority Incorporated. So being a part of the scholarship is such a blessing. It's an incredible opportunity to be represented in this community, and so yeah, thank you all.
Thank you, Valentina. Oh, sorry. Next, we have Giselle Perez, our second recipient of the Colonel Glenn A. Ferris Scholarship. Giselle, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Giselle Perez. I am a junior studying biology and completing a certificate in music and medicine. And like Valentina, I just want to say thank you to everyone who is here, who is supporting, and thank you to AHA for providing these scholarships. I think it's very important to pay it back and pay it forward. And I think an organization like this that offers such help for the students and for the Hispanic community is very important. So yeah, thank you so much for having me here. And if any of you would like to speak with me further, just let me know and I would love to get in contact with y'all. And happy Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month, and go Gators.
Thank you, Giselle. And lastly, I'd like to introduce Tomas Potluck, our Dr. Rafael and Mrs. J. F. Apadron Dangulo Scholarship recipient.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tomas Potluck. I'm a sophomore pre-med biology major from sunny Hollywood, Florida, and my family is from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I want to start off by thanking the generous donors of the Association of Hispanic Alumni for their philanthropy. And I wanted to say that during these tough times during the pandemic, the gift of the scholarship really has helped me focus on my studies and continue my education. This year, I'm serving as the vice president for the Argentine Student Association at UF. And I'm also working as an undergraduate researcher at the College of Medicine in the Zimmerman Lab. Looking ahead, I'm very excited for a great year of service, academics, learning, and Hispanic culture. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tomas. It's so great to hear from all three of you, Valentina, Giselle, and Tomas. You are accomplished students, and we are so happy to support you in all of your endeavors. And we just want you to know that, your connection to the AHA does not just end here with this scholarship. We want to make sure that you're succeeding in your goals. So please remain connected with us. And again, the more that you share the fact that you are scholarship recipients of the AHA, that word that you're putting out there is helping other students as well that maybe are not aware of these programs that exist. And the University of Florida does a great job at offering plenty of resources to make sure that our students are succeeding. So our panelists for today are going to include Bianca Quinones, Antonio Farias, Dr. Bernie Machen, and Leslie Pendleton. They all have a plethora of information to share with all of you regarding the different initiatives and goals that are taking place within the University of Florida. And last year, Bianca did join the team at UF, but unfortunately she was not available during Hispanic Alumni Weekend, but this year she is. So we're really pleased to have you with us, Bianca, and we'd love to hear what's going on in HLA. She does serve as the HLA Director, Hispanic Latinx Affairs. So with that, Bianca, I know you have a presentation for us, so you can go ahead and enable that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here and I'm glad that I get to be here this year. Bienvenidos and welcome to Hispanic Alumni Weekend. I have been seeing online a little bit that y'all have been doing some Zumba workouts, drinking some tequila. I'm like, wow, this is really amazing. So I want to commend the board who worked to put this together, as it has been a challenge to pivot to a virtual platform in a way that is impactful and engaging. Therefore, con un corazón muy grande, I want to welcome you home. Bienvenidos and welcome back to the Gator Nation. Even though it is virtual and a little bit different, we're very excited to have you here. May this weekend serve as a reminder of friendships you created while at UF, maybe some travesuras that you got into that not make you chuckle, the people who became family and are now compadres, or those lessons you learned that changed you to become the person you are today. Some of you had the opportunity to experience the new iteration of Casita last year. However, I can't wait to have you back on campus, hopefully sooner than next AHA weekend, but it's only gotten better. We now have all of these amazing decorations, a lot of knowledge and history on the walls, and it's really becoming a beautiful, wonderful, wonderful place. The students who are on the call, if y'all can do a little thumbs up and let people know just how engaged you were last spring. We would see students almost every day. About 50 to 75 students would come in, eat together, have their lunch, study, and just kind of build that community, which is very wonderful to see. But then, unfortunately, the capacity now of Casita has changed a little bit, although we are still open. Although the capacity has changed, the goals still remain the same. As Katrina mentioned, I started last year, 2019 was my first year here at University of Florida. And as I've been here and kind of been engaging with the community, learning and growing with the community, I started to kind of build something that I want to see kind of within my time here and that I would like to build and create. So let me share with you our 4-year Latinx experience. As students, well, we kind of start here at application, which this includes the recruitment process, right? When students are initially thinking about University of Florida and trying to figure out, will I feel welcome there? Will I be engaged? What kind of experience will I have there? And this is where alumni can kind of play a part, right? Wearing your gator gear, being very proud, but then also still keeping engaged within AHA, because you're also able to show that although you have graduated, you're still passionate and connected about your university. And so thinking about what does that look like all the way to vocation, which is, you know, your job, your career, maybe medical school, law school, what kind of graduate school you're attending, and figuring out how to support our students along that way. So in the first year so far is the year of welcoming and connection, really getting our students connected to University of Florida, to HLA, Casita, Salita, making sure that they're feeling seen, that they're feeling welcome, because that's gonna be what keeps them here and engaged. The second year, now after they kind of know and have a hang of University of Florida, the resources, they've built a community, then it's a little bit more internal. How are they experiencing their identity? How are they learning about their identity? What do their identities mean for them? The third year is when you start thinking about, oh no, I'm about to graduate. What does that look like? Am I gonna go to graduate school? Am I gonna get a job? Do I wanna take a gap year? And trying to really figure out, how do I make sure that I'm prepared if I'm gonna take the LSAT, if I'm gonna take the GRE, if I'm gonna really build some gaps within my resume, how do I go ahead and do that? And then the fourth year, engaging in high impact practices, whether it's studying abroad, participating in research and or internships, and how do they really be able to tell their story during an interview for whatever it is, so that they can really explain their whole time at University of Florida in a very engaging way. So year 4 is usually graduation, and then there's kind of a drop off in engagement, right? But the goal is for students to continue to be engaged because they have survived these last 4 years. How can they kind of give back once they reach their vocation? And that's why we see this arrow of giving back to the 4 years and to the process, so that they may bestow their knowledge onto upcoming generations, but then also kind of build a better environment for students who are coming to University of Florida after them, right? It's all about being that trailblazer. How do we lift as we climb? So I would like to share that during our first year, we really created that first year experience. So We have a program called Podemos that has been here. It has kind of changed a little bit more, and it used to be LEAP, but now it's Podemos, and it's a one-year program that focuses on transfer students and first semester freshmen. They can apply and they are engaged throughout the whole first year. The first semester, they're engaged in really building their scholar identity. Like, what does it mean for me to be a scholar? What does it mean for me to go to the library? How do I use my resources? And then the second semester is really working kind of on their professional identity, building their resume, figuring out what skills do they want to build while they are here at University of Florida, and kind of goal setting. How do they reach and like create and build those skills so that once they get to their graduation, to the third and the fourth year, they're able to kind of have them and set themselves up for success. And then last year was the first year that we had Adelante. Adelante is a pre-arrival program for first year students. This includes also transfer students. And what we really got from the data was that the students are feeling empowered, knowing that they deserve to be here. They deserve to be at UF. They earned their spot. They weren't here just because it was the luck of the draw, but then also building that community. They said, I am not alone in my struggles as a Latinx individual. And within the data that we're gathering, we're really finding that this initiative is really helping them feel at home from the beginning and not having to wait to kind of find a friend or maybe their roommate. From even before school starts, they're already engaging with the community and really finding their peers and building those friendships and relationships, which is amazing. Last year, since it was the first year and it was in person, so this is an old picture, we had 59 students who participated, and this year we had 100 participants. So as you can see, this is like really growing. And this is also something that we see. One of the main modes of recruitment is through word of mouth. And so if you know any incoming students for next year, or as they're thinking about coming, this is where you as an alumni can really play a role in engaging with them. If you would like to connect them to me, please do, but then encouraging them to start attending Adelante and programs that are within our office. So with that, I wanted to share a small video. So I'm not sure if y'all know, but Katrina and AHA, everybody with AHA and involved, actually plays a small part in Adelante, because with the funds that you have given to us, we have been able to really engage and like use that to support the initiative. And so we created a small video for y'all, and y'all are the first ones to see it.
Thank you for supporting Adelante.
Thank you for supporting Adelante. Thank you for supporting Adelante. It has helped support me taking the new chapter of college into a community that has open arms.
It has helped me discover new opportunities and open up new offers for me to become more involved on campus.
Adelante has given me the confidence to remain true to myself.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot, and to see the students really like glowing, but then also after their like first couple of days here really opening up is really wonderful to see. And I'm hoping that next year we're able to have it in person and then really start engaging a little bit more with each other, so that maybe we can have like a panel of alumni, and then even like get creative with how we can engage a little bit further. Now I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. So let me go back into presentation mode. I mentioned that we have worked together previously with alumni, and one of the ways that we did this year was re-examining and rebuilding the initiative of Hispanic-Latinx Hall of Fame. When I first got here, I didn't really hear a lot about it. I didn't really know a lot about it until a student was like, are you gonna do Hall of Fame? And I was like, what are you talking about? So after digging for some information and really trying to figure out what it was, what it meant to the community. I then reached out to some key figures within the community, and I asked if they would help me put something together that was really valuable, but then that really also spoke to the essence of the Hispanic-Latinx community and what leaders within our community look like here at University of Florida. And so thank you to those people who did help, like it meant the world to me, but also we were able to come up with something that I think is really holistic. We took a very like decolonized approach, and I think that the recipients of the award really show that. So the Hispanic Alumni Hall of Fame recognizes outstanding leaders who have devoted themselves to representing and advancing the Hispanic Latinx community in the areas of leadership, service, and advocacy. Their contributions being felt across campus even after they graduate. First, we have Matthew Lucas Diaz Lasso. During his time at UF, he founded the Indigenous American Student Association, highlighting the experiences of Indigenous people across the Americas. He also had the honor of representing refugees on the southern border and across the world while working with the Torture Abolition and Survivor Support Coalition. Matthew, you want to say a couple words?
Hey everyone, so I'll keep this pretty short. When I came to UF, I really wasn't too in touch with my roots. And to me, I think this award really represents my rediscovery. And I'm just so thankful to all the friends and professors and mentors who made this possible. So thank you all.
Congratulations, Matt. Second, we have Daphne Fernandez. During her time at UF, she advocated for the rights and respect of every individual in the Hispanic Latinx community. One of the proudest accomplishments was with Chispas UF, where Daphne raised thousands of dollars for the Out of the Shadow Scholarship Contest to help undocumented and documented students afford higher education. Daphne?
Hi, thank you for inviting me today. I'm very happy. This has been a very strange year, and with graduation canceled and everything, this is a nice silver lining to not having been able to walk across that stage. But yeah, I'm really, I'm very thankful that I was chosen for this. My time at UF, I learned, the most important thing I learned was that we're not a monolith. The Hispanic community, we do have a lot of similarities in culture, but a lot of us have our individual struggles, and it really showed me that we need to keep working to ensure that everyone has equitable opportunities, no matter the color of their skin, no matter what identities they have. And so I'm going to keep doing that in the future, and I will definitely stay in touch with the Hispanic community at UF. It meant so much to me. So yeah, thank you.
And then last we have Dharma Santos Santiago, a Puerto Rican scholar who dedicated her time at UF to Gatorship, a social justice education initiative, radicalizing Gatorship into a student-led program built around a healing-centered model for social justice education. Dharma?
Hi, thank you so much, Bianca. I'll keep it short as well. I want to say that I'm super humbled to be honored in this way with Daphne and Matt. I've known them for years now, not only as like people that we've been student leaders with, but also as friends that I've admired doing work at UF. I would say my biggest takeaway from Gatorship, from doing research, from everything at my time at UF, was really doing the work that's authentic to you, serving our community, but also standing in solidarity with every community, with the Black community, with the Asian American communities. The list can go on and on and on. As Daphne said, we are not a monolith, and we also need to stand in solidarity with each and every person, and to do that work in a way that resonates with you, that is healing for you, in whatever capacity is authentic to you. So that's it. Thank you, Bianca.
Thank you, and congratulations to the Hispanic-Latinx Hall of Fame winners for 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Bianca. I appreciate your presentation, and I'm sure that, you know, we all can really appreciate the initiatives and different opportunities that you have available for our students. And if the caliber of these Latinx recipients is a reflection of what the rest of the students on campus are, that's just an incredible thing for us, and we are more than pleased to continue supporting things like that. So thank you once again. In just a second, I'm trying to share my screen once more with you all. Give me just one sec. I think you all should be seeing the screen right now. This is a great way for you to stay engaged with what's going on at Casita and with HLA. These are all their handles: email, Facebook, Instagram, and Bianca is very active. So it's great to see daily what's going on there. So thank you again, Bianca, we appreciate it. And as far as our students are concerned, we're so proud of you. Please feel free to connect with us through any of our social media outlets for at UF Caimanes, or you can go ahead and email us as well, and we'd be more than happy to continue supporting you in everything that it is that you do. Just moving quickly. Next, we have someone who is not a stranger to the Association of Hispanic Alumni. He is an eager participant whenever we reach out to him, and it's always a pleasure to hear from him. He is the Chief Diversity Officer for UF, Mr. Antonio Farias, and we'd love to hear what's going on at UF with you and your office. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And good morning. Buenos dias. Thank you, Katrina and Liana, for your leadership. I really appreciate the tagline that you've made, more than just the tagline, you've made it your leadership purpose, which is accessibility for all. And soon after I speak, really briefly, you'll hear from Dr. Machen and Dr. Pendleton about an actual very concrete program, MFOS, that actually does that for, for a lot of Gators here. I also want to thank our AHA Gators, alums, future alums, students right now that are part of that network. Your continued generosity cannot be understated. And I'm not just talking about generosity in terms of funds, but in terms of sweat equity, the time that you give in, the mentorship, the Zumba lessons, right? And hopefully you didn't teach them any bad habits in terms of the tequila, and they understand what good tequila is as opposed to just the stuff they shouldn't be drinking. But in all seriousness, I want to echo what Bianca said. Which is this concept of, how do we lift as we climb? I think that's incredibly important. We have this ideology that somehow it's a rocket ship to the top, or that it's a straight line in terms of success, whether it's at college or whether it's in your career, whether it's in family, and nothing can be further from the truth. And that's where I think the power of the AHA network comes in, is by really coming back and mentoring our students and making them aware that failure is part of the process. And we fail very much at the University of Florida in terms of creating inclusion. And that's okay, because the purpose of trying is to sort of get better at what we're doing. And I think that's the power of me being sure that we're actually doing what we're supposed to be doing here. I want to leave you with AHA is a powerful 3 letters. I want to leave you with 3 other powerful letters, and that's ABC, right? Now, we all know our ABCs, but what do I mean by the ABCs? I mean agency. What I'm talking about is that we have to sort of understand that we are all complex beings. Bianca really called it out, and really our students. I really want to thank Daphne, Matthew, and Dharma. I learned most, not from books, not even from our amazing faculty. I learned most from our really young generation of students that are coming up. They're really holding us accountable, and they're really sort of challenging us to really look through a much wider lens about what we mean when we talk about agency and creating complexity and all our identities that we come in. The other one, B, is this concept of belonging, this question of belonging. ¿Quién somos, right? This has been a 500-year question, right, in the Americas. They're like, who are we, right? And here in this country, what does it mean to be Latinx? What does it mean to be Hispanic, right? How do we get beyond the label and understand that there, as our wonderful student said, there is no monolith of what it means to be anything. And we have to understand that that leads to C, right, which is the cause. What cause are we committing to? Are we committing to a level of solidarity where we bring people in, right? Are we willing to call people in as opposed to call people out and push them away? I think that's incredibly important, particularly nowadays. We're in a COVID environment where we are more than surviving, we're actually thriving, but not everyone's thriving at the same level. And we have to be really conscious of that, both as an organization and also as a people. We have to understand that it's not just this pandemic of medical pandemic, it's an economic pandemic, it's a racial pandemic, right? It's a violence pandemic. All of these are hitting us all at once, right? And they're teaching us lessons. And at the same time, we have a fiduciary responsibility. We have a moral obligation as a university to make sure that none of our Gators go without, right? Whether you have papers or not, this concept of what is, who belongs, we have to make sure that we bring in all of the complexity of what it is, whether it's our ideology, whether it's our belief systems, whether it's our religion, whether it's our sexual orientation, whether it is that we have paper or not. All of this is who we are. And the more we can actually create community around this difference, the more we can actually become a stronger nation. Not just a Gator nation, but a stronger democracy. And that is more critical than ever before, right? The AHA is powerful in sending messages about what it means to be and belong. And I think the powerful message in that comes through in everything that you do for us. We are doing a lot at the University of Florida right now in terms of trying to really move the ball in terms of inclusion, in terms of racial equity, in terms of LGBTQ plus equity, in terms of really sort of respecting and understanding that, especially our young students from Chispas, I've really learned a lot through them over the last 2 years that I've been here about never forgetting that, again, we have to lift as we climb. And I think that's the most important message that I want to leave you with today. If you need anything from me as the Chief Diversity Officer, I don't have a cape, I don't have a magic pill, I don't have easy solutions for you. This is a complex system that we have to build more complexity around belonging. And we have to build more community. We have to be more integrated, right? And the power that AHA has is the ability as the professional class that you've already gone through the 4 or 5 years that you've been here, you're in the world out there, is to make sure that you're actually practicing the same skills that you developed here at the University of Florida, which is reaching back, right? And reaching across, right? And reaching back to the university administration and asking those tough questions of us. I welcome those questions because again, I'm not a one-person show. There is an entire complex system that is trying to build a more accessible, more equitable university system where people can actually thrive and have this sense that they belong. It's not enough just to sort of get through. We really have to create the system, right, where people actually feel like this is owned by them. And I really welcome that from the young generation. You're always welcome to reach out to me. I'm on social, I'm on Twitter, at GatorCDO. You can tweet at me, you can email me. I'm always looking for sort of answers that I have, that keep me awake at night. But the biggest ones are these ABCs, right? This concept of agency, of belonging. How do we build this in a very practical way? And this concept of cause, right? What is the cause that we are going to align ourselves with? How are we going to build solidarity? And with that, I turn it back to Katrina, and really, I'm looking forward to listening to our keynote today, Dr. Machen. Go Gators.
Thank you, Antonio. Like I said, as always, it's such a great, it's always a great experience with you and listening to the different things that we have going on at the university. And I think you were a great addition, as well as I'm sure the rest of our Gator community believes, to making sure that things that are very important to us in diversity are being protected and advanced. So again, thank you once more. So we are extremely fortunate to be able to welcome someone who is not a stranger as well to the UFAHA, and that's former President Dr. Bernie Machen. He's been involved with us for many, many years. He worked very closely with former AHA presidents Ignacio Abella and Carlos Ondal, and we have been so happy to support his initiatives in the MFOS program. And likewise, he has always been a friend of the AHA and has extended his help in any way that he can. And in this past May, we were able to actually formalize, even though we've been making contributions informally for many, many years, we were able to formalize our AHA MFOS endowment. And we pledged a $30,000 commitment over the next 10 years. But we have given much more than that in the past. But it's just great to be able to continue to contribute to his program and really narrow in on students who are most in need, specifically targeting our South Florida community, which is where the majority of Hispanic-Latinx students who are MFOS recipients come from. So with that being said, Dr. Machen, thank you for joining us this morning. We're looking forward to hearing from you. seems like we may be having a technical issue.
It's called unmute. It's called unmuting. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Katrina. I was going to mention again that this is the best organized Zoom conference I've ever been involved in. You all are to be congratulated, and it's an honor for me to speak with you this morning. When I go back and think about how this all began, you'd have to say that AHA is the incubator or maybe the godmother of the Machen Scholarship Program. I came to Florida in 2004, and it was at a AHA meeting in Coral Gables with Ignacio that we started talking about how can we better support first generation students. And of course, the Waibera started happening at that time. I'm wearing one of my Waibera shirts today because of the generosity of AHA. I have 6 of them, and I don't know if I ever get to wear them enough, but I think the picture on the screen shows me wearing one of them as well. But I feel so connected with MFOS and AHA because of the beginnings that we had way back in 2004. We didn't start the Machen program until 2006. So really, the interest in first generation students was stimulated by you all to me when I had just come to Florida. So you should recognize that we've been together from the very, very beginning. And of course, the first generation story is a fantastic one for Florida. Over the past 15 years, we have supported over 1,700 Hispanic students through the Machen Scholarship Program. That represents about 1/3 of all the scholars that have been supported in this program. So it's a huge recognition of the relationship between AHA, first generation, and the Machen Scholarship Program. Currently, I think Leslie told me yesterday, about 44% of the currently enrolled scholars are Hispanic. So you guys are taking over. So it's a huge contribution that you make. You probably don't fully understand it, but you're not chosen for this scholarship because of your ethnicity. You're chosen because of your achievements getting into the University of Florida on your own. You're chosen because you are the first in your family to go to college, and you're chosen because your family makes less than $40,000 a year in annual income. So the fact that 40% are Hispanic just speaks to the fact that first-gen students coming from Hispanic roots is something that we are very much involved with at the University of Florida. You have, as you point out, been active financial supporters of first-generation scholars from the very beginning. And the relationship, it's hard for me to separate the relationship between AHA and the Machen program because I think of it as just so integrated in the way that we work together. The opportunity, of course, for these first-generation students to get their education and become Gators for life is a great joy for me. And as I keep contact with many of you who have already graduated and are now out in the world, it makes me realize how lucky we are to have had you at the university. More importantly, we have found the university is very supportive of the Machen First Generation program. And this year, the university is increasing the number of students we take every year by 50. So we are on a fundraising campaign to raise more money so that we can support 350 new scholars every year. And if it goes well this year, we will take 400 new scholars next year. So the first generation program is inextricably linked to the University of Florida. We think it's one of the reasons we're now a top 6 university, is that the country recognizes that when you attract students of the quality of our first generation students, then have them graduate at the same or maybe even an accelerated rate from the general student population, and then to go on and be successful in their careers and in their communities. The country is beginning to realize how special this university really is, something I guess I don't have to explain to all of you. I don't have a great story other than to make you understand that you are us and we are you. And we hope that we will always be able to share that relationship, because I think our goals are the same. And it looks like over the past 15 years, our outcomes have been the same as well. So thank you all for inviting me today. I really wish we could get back to another Waiteki down in Miami so that I can wear these shirts and be amongst you again. But until that happens, let's stay together and stay Gators. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Machen. We really appreciate always hearing from you. And again, the MFOS program is extremely important to all of us, and we continue to support those needs. And as we move throughout this next fiscal year, you will see on our social media sites and on our website, ufah.org, that we have links where you can make direct contributions to the AHA MFOS endowment and help us reach our goal, so that we can continue to support these programs that we were so influential in starting as an organization in collaboration with Dr. Machen. So with that, Leslie does serve as the Senior Director of MFOS, and I'm sure that there's some information that she can share with you on how you can be more involved in that community and in areas of giving. So welcome, Leslie.
Good morning, Gators. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much. You know, again, a lot of kudos is owed to Liana and Katrina and everybody else for putting this morning on. Thank you so much for including me in this family. I have been at UF now for almost 15 years, which is hard to believe. I grew up in Indiana originally, of all places, and moved to Gainesville thinking I'd be here for a couple of years, and now nearly 15 later, I am thrilled to celebrate the 15th anniversary of the MFOS program here in 2021, and so much credit is owed to, as I look at the chat, you know, Dr. Machen and Chris, his wife, their vision and their really support of first generation students across the state of Florida. Really a lot of thanks obviously go to them. In addition, you know, as Dr. Machen mentioned, so many of you I recognize, I see it as being early champions and continued supporters of the program. Katrina, you mentioned the formalization of the relationship just this past year, and so I want to acknowledge again the ongoing support that AHA has now also with MFOS. Tony Medina, I've seen that you're here on the call as well. Tony was one of our original members of our leadership council that's been so influential in the continued success of MFOS, and so I want to mention and thank Tony for his continued role in the scholarship program. So many of you on the call are MFOS alumni, and I know you're really connected to AHA and continuing to give of your time and of your treasure now that you are MFOS and UF alumni. So it's so good to see so many of you that we knew and supported as scholars. You know, I think one of the things as I reflect kind of on the power of this program and the fact that we're growing and expanding the number of scholars, it is really valuable. We, you know, really work hard and I think do a pretty good job of helping students feel like they do belong at UF, kind of this family-like atmosphere that I've learned from so many Hispanic and Latinx students over the years that I've had the honor of working with. When I travel, I often see a lot of our alumni and occasionally current students, and I reflect fondly on one memory when I was in South Florida and met with one of my alumni, and she introduced me to her grandmother, her abuela. And so we constantly, anytime I travel to South Florida, it's come by for a Cuban coffee, abuela wants to see you. And so these family bonds are so important for first generation students, and particularly students from Hispanic and Latinx community. And I think in partnership with Bianca and our team with Multicultural and Diversity Affairs, our MFOS success and story a lot is rooted in kind of this family-like atmosphere that we create at UF. As many of you know, the Machens are still very involved and live here in Gainesville, and we're so fortunate for them to be a part of that family. And our scholars, whether there's 300 freshmen or 400 freshmen, really do feel this sense of welcome, of community, of support while they're here. And that I think also contributes to your AHA board, the Jose Mirandas of the world, the Mario Augusto, the Robert Lemus, even Jocelyn, who I know was really fond and connected to MFOS while she was a student, and as our student body president, also gave selflessly of her time and her money to support the MFOS program through the student government initiatives that happened under her leadership. And so as Dr. Machen said, I really do feel like we are very linked, and this formalization through the endowment obviously is one way to continue that linkage, but it was one that was definitely there from the early days, as Dr. Machen mentioned. So I'm sure I've left off a couple of you who have been very involved with MFOS and AHA too. I know that's always the danger when you throw out names, but I do want to just make sure that we do mention some of you who have been really instrumental in these ongoing relationships. And so we would have gathered together in person, and I sure hope we can do that sometime soon so that we can continue to blend and merge this family-like atmosphere that I think, again, Bianca works through, I work on with our scholars, and then obviously our alumni are a huge part of that. So I really appreciate the time this morning. We are looking forward to expanding the number of our students, as I said. One of the things actually, before I wrap up, that I'll share is that we feel really important about building these individual connections with our scholars. So even though the program is growing and expanding and providing access to more first-generation low-income students, we still do a one-on-one new scholar check-in with every single one of them. And so my team, I can't take full credit for that, Richard, Blake, and Erica Aguiar, who are our assistant directors, do a lot of work this time of the year, the beginning of the fall semester. I guess we're kind of midway through almost now. And we do these one-on-one check-ins, and we've been doing them both virtual, or this semester we've been doing them virtually. And I think, again, it's a great way for us to build these individual relationships with our students that will last the 4 years, as well as when they become alumni. And so I just want to, again, thank all of you for this opportunity. I'm sure we'll gather in person when it's safe to do so. And just to echo again the thanks and the congratulations to our students that were also mentioned here this morning as well. So thank you, Katrina, and thanks everyone else. I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you.
All right, Leslie, thank you so much. We appreciate hearing from you. And I know that our relationship is only going to continue to get stronger. So just a couple of things to recap with all of you. First off, I wanted to mention, because I don't think we did mention it, that Dr. Machen is actually one of our former Grand Caimanes. Which, to those of you who are unaware, that is an award that we give annually. And unfortunately, this year we were unable to present it, but we're hoping that in GGG, right, that's what we call it, or Gator Guayabera Guateque, for 2021, we'll be able to double up, because we truly do have inspiring individuals who contribute immensely to our community. And we do believe that, you know, not only is it important to give back, but recognition and building upon that is really going to be what helps us thrive moving forward. I do see it in our list of participants, and that makes me extremely happy. We have tons of MFOS scholar recipients. And I think that as we move forward, the composition of our board drives our focus and our initiatives, and that really helps us always remain connected to students and how we can best support them in advancing the goals that they may have and seeing them succeed in the future. So we definitely appreciate that. So like I said, we're looking forward to actually being able to increase the amount of scholarships that we're giving this year. I know that this type of situation in which we're unable to host in-person events may give people the impression that hinders our fundraising goals, but on the contrary, we've actually established aggressive fundraising goals, and we're really being purposeful in how we drive those goals, being that we are supporting, you know, our AHA endowment as well as the AHA MFOS endowment. I encourage you, I know that Leanna posted in the chat that we have different fundraising initiatives taking place throughout this weekend. Just yesterday, we were able to really accumulate a good amount of donations in our Tequila and Caimanes event. And I just really want to let everyone know that money is important, but your time and your talents are also appreciated. That provides an immense service to all of us, both on the alumni side as well as our student population. And I just want to thank all of you, and I want to take this moment to recognize all of our former AHA directors that are on this call, and maybe for whatever reason we're not able to participate this morning. You've been immensely influential in giving us all goals. And I know that throughout the year, being that this is a volunteer organization, it becomes difficult. People have tons of things going on. They have their families, their jobs, and this does present a competing focus for us all. But at the end of the day, this is about volunteership, and when we do things like this, when we connect with one another, we remind ourselves why it is that we do this. And I can tell you that I do not at all for 1 second regret my initial involvement and even being a volunteer as a student with the AHA, because I have seen the effects of it. And as always, we can continue to grow and we can continue to get better, but that doesn't happen without your support. So I want to thank all of you for doing that. I encourage you to please email us at info@ufaha.org. Visit our website. Today during our game, we will actually have a pre-recorded La Casita tour taking place for those of you who were unable to participate last year. And I do believe that it's narrated by one of our board members, Jose Miranda. So please check us out during halftime. That's a great way to connect with our campus, even though we can't be there. And please follow us at UF Caimanes on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I know that for some people it's a little bit difficult, but that's the best way for you to know what's going on continually. We do also have a newsletter that goes out periodically where we try to include updates and applications and different things that we are trying to launch. And hopefully after this weekend, everybody kind of reinvigorates themselves and continues to support us and see our organization grow. So with that, arriba Caimanes. I'm looking forward to a win today. I have my jersey on, and go Gators. Thank you so much everyone for participating.